Hello, I'm Cam Sterling from Technology Connections. Welcome to this Technology Corner discussion regarding password management. If you have any topics that you'd like me to cover in future Technology Corner segments, please phone Golden Days Radio on 9572 1466 or you can text us on 0447 096 472. Passwords and password management are almost certainly the topics which cause the most stress for the people whom I help with their technology. How are we supposed to remember all of the passwords that we need for our banking, our email, MyGov, newspaper subscriptions, ABC iView, logins for ticketing services, to name but a few? Every system seems to have different password requirements. Some need special characters, some numbers only, some with combinations of upper and lowercase letters, some with a minimum of 8 characters. How can we manage our passwords to maximize security, minimize the risk of identity theft, and stop ourselves from going crazy in the process? Amongst the people that I help with their technology, the most common password management system usually consists of a little black book with a series of handwritten, often multiply crossed out, sometimes non-alphabetically ordered passwords. And whilst very common, one fairly obvious limitation of the little black password book is that if someone were to break into your home, the little black book sitting next to the computer or in the top drawer is a reasonably likely target. Another limitation is the risk of loss in the case of fire. How would you access your home insurance policy if a fire destroyed your home and the policy login details? A more immediate and practical limitation that I see almost weekly with the little black book is that when we're forced to change passwords, it can be challenging to keep the book accurately up to date. And remember, some systems force us to change passwords for our own security. I've seen countless people frantically looking through the black book trying to work out which password is current, which one should have been crossed out, or which one of the multiple entries with the same name should they try first. Often this results in multiple guesses which can lead to being locked out, and then we need to follow the dreaded forgotten password process, which results in yet another current password needing to be updated in the little black book, hopefully on the same page that we'll turn to next time this happens. One partial solution which I've seen help some people is writing the current date next to passwords when they're changed, and not crossing out passwords until the new password has been tested, to avoid trying to unscramble a password that's been scribbled over after you realise that you need that password just one more time before the new password becomes effective. I don't necessarily suggest throwing out your little black book. It's certainly the most widespread solution in use amongst the people that I help with technology. But here are a couple of tips which might help you to simplify your passwords though. The first tip is what I call fit-for-purpose passwords. And by this I mean that there are some systems like banking, superannuation, MyGov, for which I want to have a rock-solid, very different password that I might use different to what I might use for less important systems such as my membership of ABC iView. Many of these little black book passwords that I've seen over the years include loads of repeat passwords which, let's be honest, we've all used from time to time because we just can't remember 150 unique passwords. I think it's okay to exercise a little bit of password reuse for non-critical systems, but I think it's prudent to use unique, very strong passwords for banking and money-related systems. Fit-for-purpose passwords, I call that. The next tip is that I think it's okay when it comes to non-critical systems to rely upon password management systems such as Apple Keychains, Google Password Manager, perhaps your web browser like Firefox, Safari might offer to remember passwords for you. And that's okay, I think, for systems which don't involve money. So choose which systems to allow passwords to be remembered for you very carefully, because you don't want someone breaking into your browser or your computer password memory system and then finding the passwords to your banking, MyGov, superannuation, etc. I allow Google to manage my iView, my Netflix, my Ticketek passwords, but I make sure that Google does not manage my banking. I also keep a unique strong password for Google itself to limit the damage if I accidentally did happen to allow Google to save a password for a critical system. I've seen a system which I think is probably better than the little black book. I helped a very smart lady who had a spreadsheet which she painstakingly maintained with all of the 50 or so passwords that she needed to remember. She didn't write the actual password against the name of each system, like Gmail or Pigpond, Westpac, whoever she was saving a password for. Rather, she wrote a small series of codes which she understood. She might write KBD, which she knew to understand Carl's birthday, and then that might be followed by BP, which she knew was the birthplace of her eldest daughter, and so on. In this way, she managed to keep the passwords relatively safe. She had a backup of the spreadsheet stored on Microsoft OneDrive in case her house burned down, and rather than crossing out old passwords in a little black book, she managed them very carefully in this spreadsheet. I'm confident that security experts could pick holes in this approach as well, but it was the most effective approach that I've seen thus far. I'd love to hear about even more effective approaches that you might be aware of. I'm Cam Sterling from Technology Connections, and if you would like any help buying, installing, fixing or upgrading computers, smartphones, iPads or smart TVs, please phone me on 0414 482 542. Thanks for listening.